When Kmet got drafted, I had this to say about him. You know, he's a rookie, so probably won't have a great rookie season. Most tight ends don't have great rookie seasons. Usually it takes them about a year or two to really get into the thick of things, but I really like him. I think he's really good. So yeah, I think in a lot of ways, I do kind of stand by what I said, right? He didn't have the best rookie season, but there's still a lot to like about him. Tight ends don't have great rookie seasons typically, but again, there were some flashes with Kmet, so I am not worried. In fact, I still am optimistic about his potential. I think he could have a second-year jump. One interesting thing is that, yes, he only had 243 receiving yards, which is on the low side, obviously, and, you know, he had 644 snaps, so it's not like he wasn't playing, but he was blocking more often than he was, running a route. He only had 289 route running snaps, whereas he had 69 pass blocking and 285 run blocking. So he was mostly blocking in this for the Chicago Bears. A lot of that was, Jimmy Graham was out there. He was kind of the receiving tight end. And I do think that his stats would look better if he was like the tight end one, which, again, next year, as he gets a little bit more time to develop, he could end up getting more of those snaps and having better statistics. So let's jump into the film study. We'll talk about some sort of lighter stuff, something like this, where it's just going to be a route where he flashes over. Oftentimes, tight ends will do this to block, but sometimes you can run a route this way. It's a good way to get a tight end open sometimes as he runs over. People assume he's blocking, but then he gets all the way over, and now he's wide open. And watch how right when his play starts, there is the play action. You see Kmet run over, and he has a good enough speed to get over and get into the end zone for a touchdown. He ran a 4.7, which is, it's maybe a bit on the slower side, but it's not slow for a tight end, especially a big tight end like him. And I also feel like he takes good angles and knows how to, get into the end zone on a play like that, which that's really what matters more so. And it has a big advantage on a play like this, where again, same thing, same idea. I don't need to break down the whole play, just going to show what ends up happening. So as you see, Trubisky takes the snap. He does flip it to Kmet, who does a good job getting open. But then look at how hard it is to take him down. I mean, he just continues to fight and pick up more yards. So that's something he's bringing to the table. He can shake guys off. He can fall forward, and he can just, move guys forward and get yards that way. So, little things, smaller things. But again, we're looking at the flashes. We're looking at what were the positives, and there were, I think, a lot more even better positives. Like something like this, for example. It's a very similar thing, but now you can kind of do a twist on it, where instead of having him just completely go to the other side of the field, he's going to fake as though that's what he's doing, but then get back over to the offense's left. Again, these aren't necessarily the most fancy plays, but what I'm going to want you to watch is going to be his footwork on this play. Like watch, as you see, runs over the middle, but then he does a good job of getting back and, again, makes the catch. He's going to pick up the first down right here and doesn't even get tackled, again, because he's a big guy. He's tough to bring down, and he does have a little bit of that Rob Gronkowski just in open space kind of, you have to find a way to bring him down, and it's not so easy to do because he's just so much bigger than you. Obviously, Gronkowski did everything almost perfect and, and still does. Kmet's not that similar to Gronkowski, but at least in size, they have some similarities. And also, again, he has great footwork. He can move well for his size, which is what the combination, what the best part of that combination is. And there were some plays like this. So this is a really key play, I think, where it's going to be a cover zero that the Detroit Lions are running, which they don't do too often. They, every now and then will blitz, but, that was a big thing, especially in the second year of Matt Patricia. He was like never blitzing whatsoever. They blitzed a little more the third year, but still not enough. However, you see who is covering Kmet. It's the guy who's sort of showing as though he's a deep safety. That's the only guy who can cover Kmet. Everyone else is blitzing. And, that's what cover zero means. Basically just 5 guys onto 5 eligible receivers. Everyone else rushes the passer. And so in this situation, you need someone to get open quickly. And typically what you want to do is you want to have someone basically read that it's a blitz, turn around, just get a few yards, make the catch, and then run and pick up as many yards as possible. And watch how right when this play starts, you notice how Kmet reads this perfectly. He sees the blitz, sees that he's the guy who nobody is near, so now he turns around, he puts his hands up, so it makes it clear, okay, he's not running the full route that he would have ran. He's not running a route over to whatever his route was. I don't know what it is, but he's, being a lot more clear, making it easy for his quarterback to hit him, because again, quarterback not going to have much time on this play. And so then he is able to get hit pretty quickly and does a solid job in open space, picks up a first down right there. And that's a play where, that's helping out your quarterback. Typically, the quarterback's the guy who does the biggest impact on a play, but that time it was Cole Kmet. So again, is he doing this every play? No, but we see some flashes of this. The reality is, it just is really hard for a rookie tight end to come in and play, especially with no preseason. That just makes things even more difficult, as there's just so much technique you have to learn. It's a lot more difficult than the college games. So there's just a lot you have to learn, and that's why it takes a minute, I think. Like, for example, a play like this. This could be a good example of just something he has to get a little bit better at, and something that, to me, this is an inexcusable tight end rookie mistake, in my opinion. So he's going to be blocking 32 right there for Houston. That's what he's doing. And watch how right when this play starts, he moves over and he's in good position, you would think, right? The hand placement seems good, but look at the footwork. I mean, his right foot is currently further over than his left foot is. That's not ideal. You really want to make sure you keep your balance, and the way to keep your balance is by having the proper footwork. And because he doesn't necessarily have the best footwork on this play, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when, for a rookie tight end, it's just a little bit more difficult to clean up all of these mistakes over the course of one season. Because for like a tackle, for example, all you have to do is worry about blocking. For a receiver, all you have to do is worry about running routes. And even a receiver, you can just run the routes that you're the best at until you sort of develop your route tree. Like, think of DK Metcalf, who sort of slowly started to develop his route tree. You also have a tight end who they have to basically learn everything. It's just going to take a little bit longer. And like, watch, as you see, so he does get beat a little bit right there. Didn't matter, but I just think that's a good example of showing, like, okay, maybe a little bit of poor technique there. Nothing massive, something he can learn. Not a big concern, but that's kind of what happens with rookie tight ends, in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of what I think about him as a rookie. He was the Chicago Bears' first draft pick last year. It was in the second round, but they didn't have a first round pick. But I do feel like there is still a lot of value here. I do think that he can be a good tight end for them. And, the reality is a good tight end is kind of hard to find. There is kind of a tight end disparity a little bit. So if he can turn into a top 10 tight end, that would be huge for Chicago. And they're definitely, the tools are there. There's a lot of things to like about Kmet. And I thought that this was about the kind of rookie season I was expecting. So I don't know if I would go as far as to say like a great rookie season, but he met my expectations. And, I liked him when he got drafted. This is what I expected him to do this year, so I still like him now. I have no reason to feel otherwise. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on Cole Kmet? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.